Did you personally want to hear from the former president?
I wanted to hear from the former president, but honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about this bizarre media tour that this lady by the name of Emily Kors is going on. Now, she is the jury foreperson, or the leader of the jury that is in charge of investigating Donald Trump in the Georgia election interference trial. I don't know what's going on with the young lady. She appears to be a few trees short of a forest, a few crayons short of an entire 64 count box. There are a few screws loose. The lights are on, but ain't nobody home. I don't know what's happening with her mental and reality, but something is wrong. And if there's a mental deficiency, the question is, why is she going on television talking to every news outlet known to man? Furthermore, you're ruining the investigation because you're going on TV talking about, oh, I can't answer that, but giving the weird smirk and the smile. This whole thing's a mess. And before I go any further, let's roll a clip from Hannity. And of course, I will place this in the description box below. If you're on IG, link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
No one has been indicted in Georgia, and the investigation is supposed to be ongoing. That is not stopping Emily Kors from gushing about her experience in the grand jury. Let's see, she's talked to the New York Times, the AP, fake news CNN, MSDNC, NBC News.
Do you see this face? Like, what's going on there? I'd like to know some background behind this person and why they're doing this. Are they even from Georgia originally? I want to know more about this person. Let's continue here.
And it appears that the jury forewoman is overjoyed with the prospect of potentially putting former President Trump behind bars, but will be disappointed if no charges are filed. Now, she was dying as the foreperson. It would have been her job to swear in the president. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? She didn't get that opportunity. Now, watch, though, as she's smirking and smiling and laughing her way through several what are bizarre and insane interviews. Take a look.
Did the grand jury recommend an indictment of former President Trump?
I'm not going to speak on exact indictments.
Okay, but look at the face you make after that. What are you doing? That's not a poker face at all.
So nothing that would surprise people who have been following this.
Probably not. I wouldn't want to characterize anyone else's reaction, of course, but so that was when we heard a lot in testimony. But probably not.
Did you personally want to hear from the former president?
I wanted to hear from the former president, but honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump of me looking at him and being like, do you solemnly swear? And me getting to swear him in. I kind of just thought that would be an awesome moment.
I want to know how old she is. She gives off a 12-year-old energy, but clearly that's an adult because you can't be a kid on a grand jury. It's just very, very bizarre.
There are indictments recommended, of course. Is it more than 12 people? Is it more than 20 people?
I think if you look at the page numbers of the report, there's about 6 pages in the middle that got cut out. Allow for spacing. It's not a short list.
Not a short list. After everything that you've seen, what would your reaction be if the DA decides against bringing any charges after what you've seen?
I will be sad if nothing happens. Like that's about my only request there is for something to happen.
I mean, but y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but if you are in a grand jury, shouldn't your job be to find the truth, to rule on the evidence of the case that presented before you and just have that be that? Should you go into it with a bias one way or the other? Y'all let me know in the comments below what's going on with that. See, it's not just person being bizarre. It's not just that. It's also that this is unethical. From my point of view, maybe I'm wrong.
Does she seem impartial to anybody in this audience?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Does she even appear competent? Does she does she understand the gravity of the situation? Okay, laughing at the prospect of literally ruining people's lives, putting them behind bars, taking away their liberty, their freedom. This is not acceptable. It's not appropriate. It's not how justice in America is supposed to work. That, what we saw, is a travesty. In fact, it might even be against the law. We'll check in with our experts in a few minutes. Now, according to the grand
Let's read this right here. Shall keep the deliberations of the grand jury secret unless called upon to give evidence thereof in some court of law in this state. That's the grand jury handbook in the state of Georgia. Well, what she just did might kind of violate that.
jury handbook, there is one in the state of Georgia. Jurors, quote, shall keep the deliberations of the grand jury secret unless called upon to give evidence thereof in some court of law in this state. Oh, is CNN or the New York Times or MSDNC, is that a courtroom? I don't think so. The same handbook also makes the following recommendations, quote, do not discuss cases with your fellow jurors or anyone else outside of the jury room. And according to a ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court, quote, the proper functioning of our grand jury system depends upon secrecy of grand jury proceedings. She was telling us everything she thought about pretty much everybody. Any fair judge will throw out any conclusions of this special grand jury. Now, still, it is unclear if the jury forewoman broke any laws during her press tour, but tonight, even the media mob, they are deeply concerned about her actions and her behavior, and they should be. Take a look.
Good Lord. The mere fact that you have the right to do something, and she has a right to speak as a citizen, and even the grand jury rules in Georgia, as long as she's not speaking about deliberations, she's allowed to. The mere fact that you have the right doesn't mean that you ought to do it. She's undermined the integrity and independence of the grand jury.
This is just, at least in my experience covering courts, not helpful to a district attorney when they are trying to put their case together.
This is a horrible idea, and I guarantee you that prosecutors are wincing watching her go on this.
I was wincing just watching her eagerness to hint at stuff.
But I think that she could destroy this case.
I will say I was thoroughly enjoying the interviews, like everyone else. I was giggling and cracking up and stuff. But then when I put my federal prosecutor hat on, I was like, oh no, she's compromising the integrity of the investigation.
Right. Wow.
Got that video
so that's
for
pretty,
you.
That's pretty serious. You got, CNN saying, hey, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. Even The View, who are the biggest Trump haters in the entire galaxy, they even came out and said, well, wait a minute, you're ruining the case here. Like, what's going on? This was a whole big mess. I don't know what's going on with the young lady. What kind of issues are there? But this was ridiculous. I've never seen anything quite like it, but I feel like as I close, this is becoming more and more common. People just doing random things, saying random things. Maybe it's a holdover from Trump derangement syndrome during his term as a president, during the scandemic. I'm not really sure what's going on, but that was a whole big mess. She was all over the place. And aside from the antics and the ridiculousness and her behavior, the main thing was compromising the case. Now, I wouldn't be against the case getting thrown out and whatnot, but you shouldn't behave like that, because I don't really care if you behave like that and it works in my favor. You shouldn't behave like that in general, because you're ruining the whole process. You're ruining the grand jury. You're ruining how this whole thing should play out in America. That's not right. It's not okay. Go in there and be impartial one way or the other. Don't ruin it. Don't be blabbermouthing. Just follow the rules of the law, follow the rules that we have in this country. And that is the way we should approach it. Not with that display. And also the media are to blame here, because they took advantage of that. They used her for ratings, for clicks, and for views, totally disregarding the grand jury process in the good old US of A. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about this young lady and her comments that were made on all these major media outlets? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. That was a ridiculous display. It wasn't funny. I thought it was just cringe, to say the least. Cringe and crazy. And also kind of unlawful. That's what I thought about it. And I think you're going to see a lot more people like this, because they've been brainwashed and programmed to be this way, unfortunately. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.